Hi folks and welcome to Truck King. Steven here, and today we're looking at my 1985 Chevrolet K10, better known as Big Green. I love taking Big Green off-road, beating on it, getting it muddy because it's just so much fun. And with the 4-inch lift and 35-inch tires, this truck is extremely capable. Now under the hood, this old truck has a new engine. It's a ZZ6 crate engine from GM. That's a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 400 horsepower. Now when I took Big Green out of storage this past spring, I knew I needed to do some work to it because the high pressure fuel pump for the throttle body fuel injection system, well, it had a leak. Why was it leaking? Well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but for now, all you need to know is we're gonna replace that fuel pump. So in this video, Dad and I are gonna put on our mechanics hats and see if we can't tackle a little bit of work and get our hands dirty. Make sure you stay tuned. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about from behind the camera here. So that right there is my existing Phytech high pressure fuel pump. So essentially it gets fuel from the truck's fuel pump. It fills up this canister. The canister then has the high pressure pump, which then runs over here into my fuel injection system, which sits right up there on top of the engine in the exact same place that a carburetor would fit. And you can see from this shot right here where it's leaking. I managed to crack it a little bit right down in here. So yeah, this thing's got to get replaced. And I'm hoping that the new unit fits right into that space and right into the bracket of the old unit. We'll see how it goes. Now you're wondering, how did that fuel canister get cracked? And allow me to explain. Anytime I've had issues with Big Green, one of the fixes, or at least it seems to be one of the fixes, has been to get out there and tap on the side of that canister with a hammer, or frankly with whatever else is available. And you can see last time the truck stalled on me at the off-road park, this solution did seem to help. Dad got out and hit it for a little while with a ratchet strap, and then the truck started up. Now when this fuel canister was initially installed in Big Green, it was installed on its side and then it was run like that, so I have a sneaking suspicion that it was damaged early on and therefore it's never worked correctly. And actually Phytech obviously took notice of this because the new Phytech fuel pump can be installed vertically or horizontally, and that definitely makes it easier for packaging and easier to find a spot to put it. So yes, it is my own dang fault that the fuel canister was cracked because we'd be out there beating on it, and again, I will gladly admit that I would get very frustrated and hit it a lot harder than I probably should have. And sometimes I'm not even sure that was the fix, but hey, just getting out there and hitting something when your truck's not running, well, it makes you feel a little bit better. Anyways, on to the installation of the new fuel pump. And here's my brand new Phytech high pressure pump. Beautiful. So I get some fuel line over here. Now luckily I shouldn't need the new fuel line. The old fuel line's only about 5 years old, so I'm just going to repurpose what I already have on there. It also comes with a brand new filter. I'll probably install that. All the ring clamps that you need. This is actually a vent for the fuel tank. Once again, already installed, so I don't have to worry. And then here's the actual sending unit itself. It's roughly the same size as the current unit. It's a little nicer looking, to be honest, than the current unit, too. I like the design. And there she is. It's fairly substantial, fairly heavy, but that's okay. And once again, all the connections on top are the same as my old unit. So Phytech did its best to redesign this thing, but to keep everything the exact same in terms of the hookups, the connections. So yeah, let's see if we can't get this beauty in there. Next step was to pull the old high pressure fuel pump and canister out of there, so we disconnected all of the fuel lines, and then we had to get back behind the grill to get the bolts off that hold the canister in place. See how they've changed. There's the old fuel canister It's that circular design, and there's the new one. A little more sleek looking.
As long as it works.
Yeah, fair enough. So the mounting plate actually comes on the bottom of this thing. We're gonna pull it off of there and we're gonna install it vertically. Although this one can be installed horizontally, the old one couldn't. That one had to be vertical. So there's one of the changes from the old to the new. So we had to find a mounting spot for the new fuel pump. The old one was up here on the wall, but that's not gonna work. So we actually found a flat spot down there on the fender, and we're gonna be able to mount it vertically. And the thing is, Phytech actually allows you to put this brace on the back of the unit or the bottom. So they give you choices, which is really handy. And we're gonna actually use it on the bottom. So Dad's just marking our 4 holes right now. And yeah, drill some holes and we should be good to go. Sweet. Sweet.
Okay.
And there's our 4 holes for the bracket. Now let's see if we can mount this puppy.
So we got the Phytech fuel pump installed now, high pressure fuel pump. But as anybody who works on old trucks knows, 2 things happen. Number 1, as soon as you finish the first job, you find a problem that you weren't expecting, such as the fact that you saw this morning we had to boost the truck to get it going. So while we were doing this, we've been charging the battery, but lo and behold, it won't hold a charge. So the second thing that happens is Steve calls Dad, and Dad runs over to Canadian Tire and picks up this, a new MotoMaster battery. And this one's got 800 cold cranking amps, but the best thing about this is that, I mean, this is an old truck. They use the side mounts. This comes in top mount or side mount, and everything they got is in stock. So the good thing is, as long as you're in Canada, I don't care how small your town is, there's always a Canadian Tire close by, and they've got the parts. And honestly, a real rite of passage, go on down to Canadian Tire and fix your car right in their parking. So anyway, we're ready to throw this battery in and then see if this fuel pump worked.
All right, everybody, everything's in. Fuel pump, battery, should be good to go. So next step,
I'm standing back.
stand back. Next step is to prime the fuel pump. So what you do is you leave the positive power off of it. I'm gonna cycle the ignition a few times to allow the truck's fuel pump to fill that canister for the high pressure pump. And once it's full, we should be in business. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so priming. And again, just go look at all the fittings, make sure nothing's leaking.
Is gas supposed to be spraying out everywhere?
No.
Oh.
Go make sure it's not leaking. Come on. Like there's fuel there. Because I'm in the right direction. Well, yeah, because I'm cycling it in. It feels like there's some fuel there, but the second it stops burning up what's there, it's not getting more. So I don't know. I don't know.
Hit it with a hammer?
I don't think so. Not this time.
A big hammer? At least the battery's working good.
The battery's well charged.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I am working it right now, cycling this ignition, cranking it. So yeah, kudos, and we didn't stick a charge on that MotoMaster at all. That's the way it came from the store. And that's handy, because same thing, you buy a brand new battery, you want to just throw it in and go. You don't want to have to bother charging it, and we didn't today. Here we go, here we go! Bang! Okay, let's see if she'll idle. Lifting off. Hey!
I think you're supposed to yell, "It's alive!"
It is! Nice. Man, it always feels good. Nice. Let's go look at it. Make sure it's not leaking. All right, she runs. And now, folks, we have arrived at the end of this video. It's been a few weeks since I did the install, and I'm happy to report that the truck is running great. It starts up and idles better than it ever did before, so good news, and thanks to the folks over at Phytech for sending over this new high-pressure fuel pump. Now, for those of you wondering why you might want throttle body fuel injection over a carburetor, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it was installed on this truck because it used to live in Colorado, and with the fuel injection, the system can actually adjust the mixture on the fly to account for the altitude. So if you live at altitude, getting the system like this is definitely preferable than having a carburetor. Second of all is just fuel economy. This engine should be a little bit more miserly because it has fuel injection over a carburetor, though of course with those big tires on it and the lift, this truck still burns quite a bit of fuel. And then just reliability. Carburetors are great, sure, but they always had their problems, and going for fuel injection should mean that the truck starts every single time, regardless of the temperature or weather outside. And so far with my truck, that has been my experience. So folks, that's it for this one. Now, of course, I want to hear from you. Go in the comments below. Like always, let me know what you'd like to see out of future Big Green videos. Let me know what you think of the Phytech throttle body fuel injection. And as always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.